Alright, in today's video, I wanted to go ahead and share with you guys my Starkiller Lightsaber. This is more of a part 1 because there are currently 0 electronics installed at this point in time. So hopefully in a week or two, I'll be able to get this back once I send it off to Kyber Installs for the electronics. But I wanted to go ahead and showcase the hilt, basically some of the stuff that you get with it, and some of the add-ons that I have going into this build. So if you guys are interested in having a custom lightsaber and you wanted to go for this particular build, maybe my video might be a guide for you, and I'll have links and information in the description down below. So first, let's go ahead and quickly talk about the hilt right here. Now, when it came to looking up empty hilts, there was all kinds of different options. And as you guys know, this was pretty much my first custom lightsaber, just me dipping my toes to see what I personally like, which I found out I love CFX and I like NeoPixel. And so I wanted to go ahead and do a step up. I want to top that one by going and getting a Starkiller one, which is definitely one of my personal favorite looking lightsaber hilts out there on the market. When it came to the empty hilts option, there's actually 2 that I've seen. There was the one on Korbanth's website, which is what this one is, and there's also another one which is the 7 chambers option. Now the 7 chambers option does come with a few extra accessories, and these hilts are going to be around the same price tag, between $280 to $300, give or take, around that area. And with the 7 chambers one, you actually get some additional parts. So for example, you'll notice that this is not 100% in-game accuracy. There's some slight differences, because for example, in the video game, this area was copper. If you go with the 7 chambers option, you actually have those additional parts to make this one copper if you want, but it mainly comes down to personal preference. And there's also some additional things that you can change towards the top area as well. But for the most part, the hilts are very similar to one another, just maybe some slight variations here and there. So I'll give you guys a bit of a closer look here with the weathering detail. And I'm actually pretty excited, and I need to fix up this bottom area. It looks sloppy, but the rest of it looks pretty good. But I'm definitely looking forward to when this is complete, because this is definitely going to be my new favorite custom saber for sure. So what's cool about this particular saber, in terms of what I like, is that for one, it looks really good and it feels great in the hands, and the overall quality of this piece with all the accessories that you get is definitely top notch for sure. The other thing that I like here, if you have a custom chassis to go with it, you could actually unscrew this bottom section, like so, and you can go ahead and install a custom chassis right in here, which I actually have off to the side here, which we'll get to in just a moment. And there's the bottom, and then you have all the additional holes and cutouts so you can run your cabling, and that way you can go ahead and wire your crystal chamber and then bring the wires over here through the areas in the bottom here. You actually get to remove this panel here and to install your switches. Speaking of switches, actually, this one's a bit different, because what you guys have seen from my saber, you have these large LED buttons. Here, you don't actually have those large buttons. You actually have these little tiny black tactile buttons. Just go ahead and click it. They have a clicky sound to them. So definitely interesting. But those actually get installed in this area here, and you'll be using that for your powering and cycling through the different things that you have on your saber. So it's going to be pretty cool. You do get also this piece here. This is pretty much like a little cover plate that actually goes on to here. You're going to have to glue that into place. And this is pretty much meant to, one, help cover the switches a little bit more, and it actually hides all that extra stuff that you have going on here, especially that groove there. Put this on here, and it hides it, gives it a much cleaner look. You also get this little jewel piece here, which is basically, I think it's called a Graflux glass eye. This is more of a plastic though, it's not actually a real glass eye, but this will actually go into this area. And you do get 2 of the tactile buttons, by the way. When we get to the crystal chamber, for one, you actually do get a kyber crystal, which is a clear color. And when you have electronics properly installed on here, what's neat is that if done correctly, this crystal will actually be the same color as your blade. So if your blade was red, this will be red. If your blade was blue, this will be blue. If you have a blade with an effect going on, this will also do the same effect, which I think is pretty cool. You also have this piece here, which pretty much installs on this top section of your crystal chamber. And this will pretty much come down touching the tip of your crystal. And then you also have these 2 pieces. These are pretty much like railings. And these actually go into here like this. And when everything is installed properly, you pretty much get an image that looks like this on screen. I do note that for that image, I actually have it with my add-on crystal chamber, which we'll get to in just a minute. And last but not least, you also have this little bottom section here, which will pretty much go into the bottom of your hilts. Pretty much pop this down into place. And just like that. So the additional add-ons that I have here to go with this, for one, is that we have couple items here that are ordered through Shapeway. Now the first item here is a crystal chamber add-on specifically for the Korbanth version of the Starkiller Hilts. And this is a polished bronze steel, which definitely helps bring out the details in the crystal chamber. Because if you look right now, crystal chamber pretty much looks plain. And yes, I know there's nothing in it, but even if I did have everything in it, this would still look pretty plain back here. But you go ahead and add this piece in here. And now you have a lot more detail within that crystal chamber. Just that little piece makes such a big difference. And then even if we were to add this stuff here right now, without putting everything in, that already looks 100% better. Now the crystal chamber add-on, as I stated, was ordered through Shapeway. A link is down below. I spent about $40 on just the crystal chamber itself. Now what's neat about the crystal chamber is that there is a ton of different options that you can get. As you go down the different price range too, let me go ahead and find the most expensive one. So the most expensive option for the crystal chamber is silver. And it's a polished silver at $207. You could even get 14 karat gold plated, 18 karat gold plated. You can get plated brass, natural brass, polished brass. I mean, all kind of different things of what you personally want for your build. But I thought this was simple enough. I mean, it's $40. They also have it in plastic if you want to go with a cheaper option. But I think spending that extra 20 bucks to get something that's actually metal is going to be worth the investment if you do want to get one of these. And the other item that I got is also this chassis, which, by the way, all of these 3D printed options are actually made by Goth 3 Designs, but again, ordered through Shapeways. Now this is actually chassis version number 1. There's 2 different options you can go with. Now the reason why I went with version number 1 is because this actually supports a much larger battery, which I'll have the battery info right here for you guys to check out. So hopefully you guys could read that. So that is why I went with version number 1. So your battery will install here, which let me go ahead and just kind of do that right now to give you guys the visual demonstration here. You also have all your holes and slots for all your cabling and wire. Then your board will get installed onto here. On the bottom of the battery in this section is going to be for the speaker, and then right below that is going to be for the recharge port. And what's neat about this is, for one, when you have this installed, which again fits very snug, by the way. And the other reason why I like this as a chassis is because, again, when you remove this slides right out, and you have easy access to your your board. Unlike my current saber where I have to remove the pommel a little bit, carefully remove the chassis to get access to the SD card. Here you have much easier use. I do have this extra piece here that's meant for this, which is for a CFX board, and this may or may not be needed, but pretty much will install here. But again, it's pretty much going to be up to my installer who's going to be doing the electronics for me if he wants to use that or not. But anyways, what's neat is that when you have everything together here, on the bottom here, you also have a slot down here because with version number 1, your recharge port is going to be on the bottom right here. If you go with the chassis version number 2, essentially for that one, you actually have to use a smaller battery, and then you also have an area for a kill switch and also to recharge port and all that fun stuff. So again, it's all about personal preference on what you want. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I'm actually really excited about this one. You'll probably notice the other thing that's currently not on here is that there is no cover tag wheel or even a spot for it, and there is no D-ring attachment. I did look online on some community forums and ask questions about a potential cover tech if I wanted to add it on there. How would I go about it? Basically, they stated to add it somewhere within this area here. But whether or not I'm actually going to add it, I'm not 100% certain. I would like to do a D-ring option, but I'm not sure that that's possible. Or maybe I just won't do any of that at all. Maybe I'll just make a separate pouch to carry it in. But again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. So again, for the hilt itself, the Korbanth version is about $300. If you go with the weathering option, it's about $360. The crystal chamber add-on is another $40, plus the chassis, which is about $50-$60, somewhere around there. And then the battery is like an additional $20. So it's already a pretty good amount of money, and there's no electronics yet. This will be installed with CFX, and it's also going to have NeoPixel, which again, I'm going to be super stoked once it is complete. But once again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And if you're looking at a custom saber, what kind of options are you going to be getting? As far as what's going to be my next custom saber, I'm not entirely sure yet. But I guess you could kind of say that, you know, getting into custom sabers, this is starting to be a bit of an addictive hobby and an expensive one at that. But until then, I'll see you guys on the next video.